This show is about to get even more off the rails. It is time for group chat.
All right.
So this is where we kind of dig into one topic a little bit deeper, and this week we're going to do something a little bit different. Nothing news cycle related.
Strap in, folks.
Strap
We're
in.
gonna go real deep.
I'm largely going to just toss this to you guys and let you
So
guys
deep.
have fun, because I don't know what to say about, like, so we're going to talk about online dating, how technology and all these apps have like changed the dating world, and honestly, I know nothing about this shit. So.
Even though you got married on MySpace or something.
Yeah.
Right?
So let me lay the groundwork here. I have done online dating. Like I've had online dating profiles. I've gone on dates with women I've met online. I met my wife online. That being
Friendster?
MySpace. No,
Okay.
literally MySpace.
Wow.
I think I've told this story before, but I'm pretty sure like one of my first messages to her was something about like who she was supporting in the primary in like 2000.
Oh, I can't believe she married you.
Yeah.
But that is also
I can't believe she married me either. Have you seen her?
She's beautiful.
Yeah. You did well for
Oh yeah, I did pretty good.
very lucky.
I'm a lucky man. But that being said, I met my wife on MySpace. I've been off the market for a very long time. I have never used Tinder. I know nothing about what's some of the other
dating
Bumble.
apps.
Hinge.
Bumble.
Okay, Cupid.
Coffee Meets
I
Bagel.
literally don't
Coffee
even know
Meets
that.
Bagel.
Yeah, again, these are like I don't even know the names of these things.
Happen.
They're all the same.
Basically.
Yeah, the mechanics are the same,
well,
just
they're-
different
they're
colors.
You even
different
need the same
depending,
people
but,
across
yeah.
all of them too.
I've never experienced
Like-
that.
I mean, I've seen
Oh, no,
some
that's not true.
overlap.
That's not true.
I've seen some, but
There's a bunch of
Yeah.
overlap actually.
So I'm considering this my opportunity to get like a crash course in how this stuff works, and like at least like I have to cover technology theoretically for my job. I should know how this stuff operates.
yeah.
So you guys tell me a little bit. I guess first, what apps do you use?
I am a sort of like cast a wide net kind of person. I feel like you use all of the apps and hopefully you get some, right? And to be fair, I use them now as sort of a replacement for pornography. Not Tinder, because Tinder's a little bit more about like dating or whatever, but like Scruff and Grindr and the sort of gay hookup apps are like hyper explicit. Like you can send dick pics and stuff like that. I use it for that reason a little bit
For
more.
receiving
Dick pics.
and not sending.
I send dick pics, yeah.
I
mean,
I do
that's
enjoy. By the way, this
given
is
social
not the first time
currency.
we've said
Yeah.
dick pics on the show.
No.
But those are the three that I use most often. I've signed up for a ton of different stuff in the process of researching these things for stories and whatnot. But my go-tos are Scruff, Grindr, and Tinder, and it depends on what I'm looking for, right? If I want to go on a date, which I usually don't, it's Tinder. And if I want to get laid, it's Scruff or Grindr. And Grindr, unfortunately, is the one that has worked out best for me.
Why is that unfortunate?
It's like a fucking twink warehouse. It's like
Explain what that is
Yeah,
to the
please.
listeners.
a twink is like a young, thin, nubile
Hairless?
homosexual.
Okay.
And Scruff is for like, like men or whatever. I just, I don't identify as anything, any category of homosexual. But I do feel like Grindr is where I get the most action.
That's where you do your best work.
Right. I'm like an aged twink or something.
I'm gonna get you. I mean, that's a T-shirt. Aged twink.
All right,
Fine.
Trillian, what about you?
I don't like to cast as wide a net, but I started on OkCupid and then I tried Tinder like 2.5, 3 years ago. And now I'm on and then afterwards I went on like Happen, now I'm on Bumble.
What does happen?
Happen's the one where like people, you meet people along your commute or something, like wherever your paths cross, then you get these cards come up. It's literally
It's like geolocation
It's
based.
like Tinder. I don't know. Understand
So
why.
it's like sort of
it
serendipitous, like
It's
kind of.
Pokemon Go.
but for dating.
Yes, actually, yeah.
It's a little
Is
weird.
it? Oh my god.
I wish it were that much fun. It's actually quite a dumpster fire, but
Right, but instead of Pokemon,
So-
you collect
Dudes.
dicks.
dudes,
Yeah.
it's sure.
It's a dumpster fire. Is that different from any other dating app, though?
And they're all,
is a
it's like
dumpster
on
fire.
that, they're all like the shitty pigeon Pokemon. That's
Yes,
all
always Pidgey, Rattata, whatever.
Deep
Never a
cut.
Pikachu, never like Dratini. Anyway, I'm a nerd.
I was gonna say you're just going deeper and
Just
deeper
went really
cuts.
deep. Anyway, so Tinder and Bumble are what I use now.
Okay.
Which one do you prefer?
They're both really crap. So
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. It's like dating in the real world sucked. It still sucks.
yeah,
All
got
right.
worse.
And lastly, Gorman, which ones are you on?
So I'm recently kind of entering the dating pool, like within the last couple of months, really. So I'm sort of just getting started, but I've used Tinder, Bumble, and Coffee Meets Bagel.
I've used that before too. I forgot to
Yeah.
mention.
And primarily Bumble and Coffee Meets Bagel. It's like this really lame like excuse. There's like
Like
the
it shuts off at
currency.
noon.
So like if you want to get like a match or something, you have beans, which are basically like points or something that you have to like pay to like have
I'm
get
already-
a connection
I-
with certain.
No, 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 no.
There's like an
I didn't
economy
think about
involved,
No, 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 no,
gamification.
no,
It's
but the
terrible.
crux-
extended
So
metaphor.
dumb.
No,
Yeah.
the crux of Coffee Meets Bagel, though, is that every day they send you one person to consider at a certain time, and then you can choose to pass on this person. That's where the currency thing comes in. Then you get to pick someone else. But every day they pick someone to show you at like noon or something.
Do they? Is there a gluten-free version? Sorry, I don't like carbs.
I don't even know what the metaphor is referring to, but sure. I'm just so glad that
The coffee and the
despite
bagel.
us using the same app, I've never run into Gorman, which is
But
great.
Gorman did just run across our managing editor,
Yes, I
Dana
did.
Woolman,
I
on
did.
Tinder.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
shout out Dana.
What's up, Dana? I see you on Bumble.
Did you swipe right? Is the question.
No, it's still just sitting there. I didn't
okay.
swipe either way.
So I have definitely swiped right on the most inappropriate of people because I think it's hilarious.
Do that too?
Yeah.
Like if
I
I,
mean, that's
see
why
you
I
and I know
considered it.
you, I
Yeah.
am going to swipe right and maybe
Same.
message you something
Yeah.
terrible.
Well, that's if you match. So the person has
Right.
to swipe right back on you too.
Right. Well, and to be fair,
Yeah.
I'm not going to message something terrible to a coworker.
No.
Yeah.
Just friends and family.
You don't
Yeah.
want to. You don't
Yeah.
want to like get HR involved because
Right.
No, it's more like
you
a
thought you
practical
were
joke,
closer
sort
with.
of.
Right.
You really
But
were.
you know, if I see Uncle Stan on there, I'll be all, "Hey,
What's up?"
Daddy."
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get weird, y'all.
Yeah.
It did just get really.
To be fair, I don't think that my uncle's on Tinder currently, or I don't think he's searching for me.
Maybe if you're lucky, someday you'll find out.
Oh
right.
my God.
So real quick, all of you are on Tinder.
Yeah.
No, that's the one I use the least.
Okay.
That's the common ground, I guess.
Yeah.
So you did say before though that Tinder is more for dating.
Well,
And-
for gay men specifically. Like,
Okay.
I don't know about what happens in y'all's world.
So that was going to be my question. My perception of Tinder has always been that it's basically a hookup app. Like, sure, people do go on dates from it, but primarily it's about like getting yourself laid and moving on.
I
It's
can
like
say
a casual hookup app.
unequivocally, in my experience, it is not that even a little bit.
Okay.
But none of them are, in my experience thus far.
So I met my last boyfriend on Tinder. So it's not all about hookups, but it's like 99% of the time. You really have to work hard to turn it into a thing. So
Yeah, and this is okay. So this is a thing, right? Where I feel like maybe I got laid more when I was in college before all this stuff than I do now using all this stuff. And I don't know if that's because
College.
I'm more
Yeah.
picky than I was, or because I was hotter then, or
I think it's just
what?
the social situation. I mean,
Yeah,
college is like
college.
hedonism, man. It's like you're
Yeah.
surrounded by a bunch of horny 20-somethings all the time.
You're also talking about doing that in person, though, and I feel like it's a little. It's probably got to be a little bit easier to like sort of grease those wheels if you have a face-to-face connection.
I mean, I'm
You're
way better in
drunk,
person.
and you know that
Absolutely.
the other
Like,
person's drunk too.
as opposed to like sending basically text messages
Yeah.
back and forth, right?
yeah.
that's my inherent problem with dating apps is that I always struggle about representing myself on my profile. I'm like, it's very difficult to tell you what I'm. Why do I have to struggle to please you or to try to make an impression when I'm so much cooler in person?
Would you like me to fix your
yeah,
profile
let's do
for
that
you?
later,
Okay,
yeah.
I fixed his. So
Well,
Mine
it was a
needs
focus group
fixing.
that fixed mine.
So
Yeah,
when
we-
Michael, the last time that Dana and Terrence were in San Francisco, Michael was just very, very fresh
Yeah,
out of a
like-
relationship
yeah.
and had just set up his profile. And I cannot tell you how hilariously bad he was doing it. Like, his profile wasn't terrible, right? But
I had the photos were decent, right? Was that the part? Or?
Your photos were fine. Whatever.
Yeah, like
I mean,
they weren't awful.
they're fine.
Yeah.
The profile was okay. The thing that got me about it was your approach to hitting on women on Tinder was first message, hey, let's get a drink.
Yeah.
What? That is not how it works.
Because I was like, so let me explain myself so this is coming from a place where I literally had not dated anyone as an adult person. I'd been in a relationship for 7 years, and before that I was in law school and college. So I had never been dating as people who have jobs and whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm on this. We matched. I'm only swiping on people that I actually would want to get together with in person. So I assumed that, that's why else would they be swiping on me? So I was like, okay, we matched. Let's go get a drink and see if we actually like each other. That was my thinking, which clearly was so dumb and naive and stupid because there's so many weird, creepy, rapey dudes, and I get that now. But I was just like, I thought this was
I made a similar, different mistake when I got on Grindr for the first time because I too had just come out of a relationship a year and a half ago that lasted 10 years, so I was not at all familiar with this stuff, right? Or all of the nuances of how you go about doing things. And I was at the airport, which apparently JFK is a hot spot for hookups. And
Really?
it was
So
just
is
like
SFO.
it was just like ding 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 ding, and I was like, oh my god, all these people, right? And somebody was like, hey, and I just, being the polite Southern gentleman that I am, was like, oh hello. I said it, I was just felt like I needed to respond to everybody. Oh my god, the things I saw in that 5 minutes, I was like, seriously, it is an assault on my senses. The things that people will just send you. And I don't know if this happens on any of the other apps, because I don't even think you can send pictures on Tinder, or I haven't figured it out.
No, you can't.
But on Grindr and Scruff, the first message can be,
explicit.
a 70-year-old butthole.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Just spread all the way open.
That's not fun. But
Yeah, I don't want that at the airport, y'all.
No.
I don't need that.
Or
before I'm
really
getting on a flight.
anywhere,
Yeah.
frankly.
Yeah.
But okay, so his opening, I get it, because now on Bumble, it's the girls who reach out first, and that's so strange to me because I'm not used to making the first move in real life on apps, whatever. So I understand where you're going with the hey, let's go get a drink thing, because I want to be as short and sweet as possible, and then I get a chance to be myself in person, because that's so much better.
Yeah.
I like the buildup. I like to find out a little bit more about you before I commit to going on a date, because frankly, I don't have enough time to be dealing with your bullshit.
That's right.
And
So-
if you're an awful human being, I can suss it out pretty quickly.
See, so for me,
feel
I get
like.
a few enough matches that I don't have to
You
worry about volume.
know
You know what I'm saying? So to me, I
I'm
would rather
blowing up
just get
over here.
a drink or
seriously,
something. Because it just doesn't happen that often. So it's not like I'm going to be overwhelmed where I have to worry about parceling out my time. I think, or at least not yet. Anyway, I don't. But I
Maybe
don't
things
really
will
see that
change
ever
after
happening.
this episode.
Probably not.
My profile photo was
might.
approved, y'all.
Woo!
For
Nice.
Good one.
Grindr.
Oh, okay.
So question here though,
Yeah.
because you've all kind of alluded to this a little bit in that you found hooking up in college easier. You want to go meet people and talk face to face. You want to just immediately go get a drink. This is how you want to get to know people.
Yeah.
And
Well, I've since changed, right?
Well, no, I'm not-
you play the game as it has to be
no. So
played.
that's I'm not arguing with the approach necessarily, but
Yeah.
so when I was younger and I was dating and I was doing online dating, I had kind of the opposite reaction. It was I preferred to have the profile. I preferred to talk to people, and as a writer, I felt I expressed myself better in a written word. I was awkward talking to
And then you're a
humans.
disappointment in real life.
Yeah, and then I'm a disappointment in real life.
True.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed.
Still the case.
But so yeah, as fellow writers, you don't find it at all easier to put your best foot forward, tell people about yourself in a quick profile, send a couple of messages where maybe you're able to more carefully choose your words.
I got this one.
Okay.
I actually like putting it out there that I am open to dating, because this is me real life trying to meet people. I go to an event and I see anyone attractive and I spend the whole night avoiding them. That's me, because I'm a really socially awkward person sometimes. I know it doesn't seem that way because I'm so cool, but
No, it's totally that way.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying.
I can feel it.
yeah. Oh, thanks a lot. Damn.
You're regretting your decision at the top of the show now, Sherlyn?
You
I
can't
already
take
regret
you can't
it.
Take your vote back.
Oh.
Well, that's sort of my question though. Is doesn't this text barrier make it a little bit easier for you, or at least
as writers,
as a writer and I mean, I imagine we're all not just writers, but we're tech journalists. I imagine we're all not the most like, we're not social butterflies here. Probably we're all probably a little bit awkward.
Speak for yourself, huh?
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at parties.
We're
right?
wonderful.
Me too. Olivia.
All right,
know.
you are now.
Yeah, Olivia definitely knows.
Were you?
Very
We
always,
bring
were
our
you-
A game to social situations. You know what I'm saying?
You're the only one that's
So here's the thing about
No.
sort of representing yourself, right? That I struggle with is I am a relatively unique human being, I think, and I have a hard time expressing that in a way that will appeal to a large group of people. Right? Or even just a group of people. Like I don't know who my target audience is. When I'm writing for the website, I know who I'm writing for,
Yep.
right? Whether it looks like it or not, guys. I know you're out there and I know who you are.
Yep.
But online, it's like I don't have a type either, so I'm not like playing to a certain group of people, right? Like I don't know necessarily how to market myself properly online. I'm also terrible at like job interviews and resume writing and all that stuff. Like I'm terrible at selling myself, so that's difficult. When you see me in person, you know what you're getting,
Yep.
right? You can hear me from a fucking mile away. I look the way I look, and you know that's what you're getting.
Yep.
The way that I represent myself online, I don't know. I don't know what I'm representing, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know?
And you don't know what's going to offend someone when you put it out there. Yesterday I tweaked my profile. I resorted to putting the fact that I work at Engadget as something that would attract the right crowd. And
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm just putting it out there. And then I also used the middle finger emoji because, hey, that's me.
There's a middle finger
There-
emoji?
Oh my
Yeah.
God, where have you
when?
been? Since years
Yeah.
ago. Anyway,
The middle finger is my favorite
Yeah.
finger.
so I put that on there, and I don't know if I'm gonna. But the thing is, I guess it's good because it weeds out the people who are gonna be offended by it anyway, and maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm a firm believer in like litmus tests, but like Christopher said, like I'm not good at understanding like what people always would necessarily like in me that I would put in a profile, like what is going to be attractive to them.
Do you
and
have
for
to
me,
download an add-on to get the middle finger?
No, it's right
no,
there.
it's there.
What?
and
We'll find it for you afterwards.
He got it. He's
there
got
you
it.
go. Is that
Everybody-
your
He's
next
gonna
tattoo,
flip
Trout?
everyone
Christopher
off now.
Trout has just had an epiphany live on the podcast.
yeah.
Oh my god.
It's the best podcast ever.
IRL stuff.
But I would say like that I'm not good at that. And for me, especially like when we talk about, being able to build that rapport with someone through text message. Like I started out on Instant Messenger like back in middle school. So like I know like generally how to communicate that way. But to me, so much of it and so much about how I get a read on a person is seeing body language and like actually being with them. And then like whether or not they're saying that they're into, or you can see that, right? And
also-
that is very important to me. And without that kind of added layer of context, I work better with that when I have that to
your
work.
swagger
I also
comes
think
from
that,
your
like-
real life
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, sorry.
I also think that like there's a certain level of like judgment when it comes to typos and things like that. And like I feel like I'm a pretty good writer. I do it for a living, right? Like I went to school for it.
Yeah.
I am a fucking terrible typist. Like I'm horrible at it. And
You
I
and Terrence.
typos everywhere.
I can't
right?
type.
Especially
I can't
with a
spell.
soft keyboard, dude.
It's
Like on a
it's
phone?
difficult. Or if you're doing it one-handed, which
Yeah.
occasionally I am.
Yep.
And it's like, I know that there are people that are like, if the comma's out of place,
Super
they're going to be
anal.
like super judgy, right?
Yeah.
But like, I struggle with that. I love an emoji,
But
ironically. I
But-
don't know that I love it sincerely.
Yeah.
And you can't tell when it's sincere or not.
yes,
Exactly.
I don't
This
even
is-
know if
and
I
this
use
is-
it sincerely. I don't
Right.
even. Yeah.
This is the problem though with online communication in general is the nuances aren't there.
And
right?
also on the flip side of it, the real world way of seeing and understanding a person is much better than online because you don't know if this person is really what you're going to expect or get in real life. Whereas if you meet in the real world, like I know Gorman is a lanky, tall dude with long hair immediately just by looking at him. But looking at his picture, I'm like, is he 5 feet tall? I don't know.
Right, we're striking on the catfish situation.
Yeah,
which
yeah, actually.
By the
I-
way, I do have that I'm 6'3" in my profile for
Good.
that very reason.
I have been catfished so many times.
Aw.
And like on a vague sort of I kind of pose this way to
Yes,
make myself
yes.
look larger or to make this look smaller or whatever.
Playing with perspective.
And I think that like not only is the physical part, like just the do you actually look like what you're representing, a problem. The other problem is pheromones are like a for real deal, right? Our hormones tell us who we're attracted to. I can't tell you how many times like I have met somebody on one of these apps thinking, oh my God, this could be it because this guy is like legit super cool. We have all these same interests. He's hot. I show up on the date and it's just like crickets, right? And then they're like, wow, you're really loud. And I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah. Wow, you're really rude.
Right?
Oh.
How about you pay for dinner?
So we are running out of time, but I did want to, because you briefly touched on the catfishing thing. It's one of the many sort of
Tropes.
not just tropes, but like one of these like stumbling blocks.
Right.
Yeah, the pitfalls of like modern dating and online dating.
Yeah.
And you know, you guys at least clearly remember dating pre-internet dating. So like, what are the other things that you've kind of encountered that are like specific to online dating, specific to modern dating through apps that you didn't have to deal with anymore, that were kind of like a shock to the system?
Well, the unsolicited dick pics were the like number one, like, oh my God, this is what it's about. Like, not to say that doesn't ever happen in the real world. Like, certainly I've been flashed a dick at the bar or something like that, right? But like, that is the exception, not the rule.
No.
That was shocking to me. I'm super pro dick pic at this point, though, because you know what you're getting yourself into, right? Also, if it's used, it depends on when it's used. Like if it's used in the beginning of the conversation, like I'm a little hesitant to meet up with you because I think that you're leading with the dick, you know, and I'm not necessarily into that. When it's exchanged after we've established that we're both into it, then I'm down for it. Ghosting is a thing that I didn't experience in the real world that I experienced online, and not that it can't happen in the real world, but I think that there is a sort of ephemerality to online dating that makes that a more acceptable behavior.
It's easier to do online dating because of the abundance of candidates. Like you meet far less people you do on real life than you do on dating apps, and it's like if this doesn't work out, it's easier. I got like tens of thousands of people to meet tonight anyway. So that's the one thing that was really different. It makes me a lot less invested in anyone I meet. I think that's what it is.
And I guess that's part of the thing that makes the ghosting thing easier and more common. It's
Oh,
just
I
like you
ghost.
have this bigger pool of people to pull from.
This is a
and so
thing,
you just
like
go, there's 20
so
more.
I
There's
don't-
20 more notifications
ghost.
waiting.
I don't ghost, but I know people who do and don't feel any kind of way about it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I've been on the receiving end of it after dating somebody for months.
Ooh, no, that's painful.
And that's a mess.
Yeah.
I think like I wouldn't even call it ghosting if you go out on a date, you make out at the end of the date, and then the next day you don't call. That's just dating.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that the ghosting thing can be done elegantly.
Oh yeah.
And I think that there are places where it makes sense too, right? Like ghosting because you think somebody might be a little stalker.
Oh, yeah.
stalkery. Totally legit.
Yeah.
I mean,
That is this thing I've had to deal with a friend of mine who is like, he won't stop texting me. We went out once.
Block him.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's been several months. This person is still occasionally like
Give it several
followed
years.
her on Instagram. Like, no.
Oh, well, this is another thing. So this has happened to me as well. I dated this guy for a month or two last year, and I hope he's not listening to this.
Probably
well.
is.
Doesn't matter.
We ended it because he was a messy child, and he came back. And again, and it was everywhere. It was Facebook, it was Instagram, it was anywhere that he could. He was calling me, he was text messaging me. And then I was out of town, and I get a message from him that's like, I'm at your doorstep. And I'm like, nobody invited invited you.
Nope.
Luckily, I was also at that time dating a cop and had,
Ooh.
The cop go and sort that out.
No, I was just like, should I be worried? And he's like, no, he seems harmless. But now he knows, and I'm good.
Yeah. Yep.
But that isn't something that happened to me in the real world. There wasn't real world stalking on the level.
Here's what like I haven't had. I mean, I guess I just haven't been doing this long enough. Like I haven't been ghosted on. I haven't had any stalkery situations yet. Hopefully, I never do. What concerns me about it, though, generally, is I can kind of just see how it is. I call it like Jerry Seinfeld syndrome. I feel like all of this massive amounts of choice, you touched on this, Cherynn, where it's like I can feel you become oddly picky about things because you know that there is infinite choice. And when you dated people, you were much more tolerant of things, and like you were looking for the stuff that you liked in people instead of the reasons to eliminate them and move on to the next thing, which I think is a really weird dynamic that I don't think is necessarily really healthy for people. And that's like, this is what I can see it, and I think about this as I'm swiping through. I'm just like, this seems kind of really messed up.
Yes.
Because I can hear, like, I can see why I'm making these decisions very rapidly, like, because it's, whatever, it becomes really superficial.
Yeah.
Do you read the profiles? Because I hear that
always
straight
do.
men don't read the profiles.
Here's the thing. There's like a decision tree, right? Like obviously pictures first, and then I look at the profile, and like if there's too much emojis that aren't used in the right way, or like I feel like I can get a sense for some people, if they take themselves too seriously or whatever. But I mean, again, people might be thinking that about me. This is what's so weird. This is why I'd rather meet in person, because profiles really, what if this person is just bad at writing profiles and this is not who they are at all?
That's why my profile is just the eggplant emoji and the martini emoji. And I think you just get everything you need to know there.
That tells you everything you need to know,
That's
right?
But you bring up the very philosophical question of whether you can truly find love on a dating app, because you eliminate so much that there doesn't give room for chemistry to just grow naturally and organically anymore. And so that's why I am deleting all the apps soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
and this is the other thing, is that like I have definitely done that multiple times.
Oh, I've deleted them a lot of times. Yeah.
And gotten back on them.
Yeah.
And every time I'm like, so done. I am so done with this. And then I'm like, I can't find, it's like a dick
wasteland.
desert.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the real world is a fucking
I love the idea.
Dick desert.
Dick desert.
Yes, they're all taken or not great.
Can we end on Dick Desert, please?
Dick
I want to
Desert.
end on Dick Desert.
Okay.
I think that's as good a place as any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never gonna get better.
I got nothing.
Okay. Christopher, where can the fine people find you on the internet?
Grindr.
How can the fine people of the internet find you on Grindr?
I am at Mr._Trout most places. If you want a real dark look at my my
Internal.
personal life, just find me and sign up for Grindr. And just like hang out in the area.
Yeah.
That's how you find me on Grindr.
And also make sure to read Computer Love, your occasionally
NSFW.
Occasional NSFW column about sex and dating.
yes. Mr. Gorman.
I am at Numison on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. Cherynn.
I am at Cherynn Low on Twitter.
Not gonna hand out your.
Nothing else. Just
Nothing
stay
else?
away. Just if you can't connect with me on Twitter, you can't connect with me anywhere else.
Fair enough.
Dang, girl.
The end.
True.
The end. I am at Terrence O'Brien. Lots of E's, no A's. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe in iTunes, rate us in iTunes, or whatever your podcast app of choice is. Send us your feedback, your questions, your comments. You can hit us up at Engadget Podcast on Twitter or podcast@engadget.com. We want to know what you think. And make sure to tune in next week. But before we go, I want to leave you with the comment of the week, which comes from Heinz Paul. Clippy for President 2016.
True.
Make it happen.